Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today I am going to be sharing with you this card. It features the beautiful mountain dies from Altenew and some watercolor. And also we're going to be creating a really cool dimensional effect with this as well, with a little added washi tape for the sky. So to start with, I am going to be using a piece of watercolor cardstock. Now this is around 6 by 11 inches, and all I'm going to do is I am going to take all of the little dies from the mountain die set and I'm going to place these into position onto my watercolor cardstock. Now I am using a little bit of tape just so they don't move around when I do die cut them, so that's why the tape is there, and I'm trying to add it to where I'm not going to be watercoloring, so above the die on this one. Once I've run this through my machine, I'm just going to remove the tape and also the die as well. So because this is a little larger, a little wider than the dies themselves, this means that it's just going to cut into that cardstock rather than cut it out. So this is what I want. It is going to make it a little bit easier to do the effect that we're going to do. But if yours does cut out, don't worry, you can still do it as well. So I have all the pieces there. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a splash of watercolor to these pieces. The watercolors that I'm using are the 24 pan set from Altenew. This is the artist one, but you can use any watercolors that you do have as well. So for the mountains, I'm adding a little bit of blue and a little bit of purple in together, as well as a touch of greys, just to make it a little bit more moody. And I'm not really worrying too much about getting this perfect. I'm just kind of splashing the watercolor on there, and it's going to kind of make it do it itself. Okay, so when you do, you add the water and then you just splash the watercolor around. So for the mountains, I'm using a really dark green for the little trees that are popping up there. And then again, I'm adding a base of the lighter green for the little hills, and then adding some darker splotches here and there. So as you can see, I'm just kind of just moving it around until I'm happy with the effect, adding a little bit more darker around under the trees as well. Once it is dry, I'm then going to add the little boughs on, or the trunks onto the little trees, and I'm just adding a touch of a little bit of a brown colour in there. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You could have had all the trees being the same colour, but I just wanted to add a little touch of that little brown on the little trunks. You can see where they are nicely cut out with that die, so that's really going to help you. Once that's done, I've let this dry, and I'm then going to snip these pieces out. So all I'm doing is I'm just cutting in from the side of the watercolor cardstock, and then they're going to be nicely released. So once I have all of these pieces cut out, I can then play with them, arrange them how you want to. I'm also going to remove all of the little tiny landlocked areas that are in between the trunks of those trees as well. So I'm just going to use a little pin to do this. You could use a pokey tool, or you could just use your fingernail, completely up to you. Whatever you have is going to do the trick, just to remove those little landlocked areas there. So once that has been done, you can see that you can have a play to see where you want this to be. I'm going to have mine within a die, a circle. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that die just to make sure where it's going to be. I'm also going to use that same die to cut the sky. Now I'm using the beautiful Nebula washi tape from Altenew. I've added it onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm taking the largest circle from the Halftone circle nesting dies. So I have my little sky, and then can add my little scene in place. I'm then going to take a panel. Now this is going to be on our card base, and I'm just cutting that into place where I want it to be. Again, it's the same circle die that I have been using. I'm then going to take a card base, place my panel on, just kind of like a guideline at the minute, and I'm then going to adhere that little circle sky that we have into place. I'm just going to pop it through the panel where it's come from, and there we go. It's nicely in place. As you can see, I have my little scene how I want it to be, so I'm going to tape this together, and this is going to help me out on this little bit of die cutting now. I'm then going to take the circle, make sure I have everything in place, and I'm going to tape this down just so it doesn't move. Now I have all of these pieces together, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Now if yours doesn't go through, please don't pressurize it. You may need to take out the shim just to make sure it works. I've took the shim out of mine, so mine didn't cut all the way through. I needed a little bit of a knife just to get the bottom edge there. I've then removed the first piece that has die cut, the second piece hasn't, and I'm then going to die cut that one. I removed my shim the first time, for the second time I didn't need to, and then I kept going until I had all of my pieces cut. So once they have been cut, I'm then going to take my panel and add my sentiment on. So this is the best time to do it, because you don't want to do it when you've added it to your card with the foam tape. The sentiment I'm using is from the Wanderlust Stamp Set, and I'm just going to ink that up using some obsidian black. It says stars cannot shine without darkness, so I love that little sentiment. I'm then going to add my little pieces into place. So for the first one, I'm going to add this down using some flat tape, and then the other ones I'm going to use some really thin foam tape. So I think it's about 1 millimeter thick, so it's really quite thin, but it does give you that dimension that I am after. So all you can see is I'm just going to keep adding these into place onto that circle. They're all cut with the same circle, so they are going to fit in perfectly. So if you have thicker tape, don't worry about it, just go for it, and then you will have a more dimensional scene when you have finished. Once I have finished with that, I've then added some foam tape all the way around this, so I can then add on my panel again. So as you can see, I did go a little bit crazy with the tape, but I felt that it was needed to keep that panel nice and straight. So here is the card complete. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video and that you like the techniques involved. If you create something that was inspired by this, it'd be great if you do share, because I would really love to see it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, crafty friend, Lydia here. Just popping in to say that you can get your daily dose of crafting tips, techniques, and tutorials just like this by subscribing to the Altenew YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little bell up there and you will never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.